Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This video is dedicated to Black Clover and we're looking to do a catch-up video of chapter 278 and 277. 278 being the one that's going to get released this Sunday or Monday depending on time zones. But at the point of recording, I've literally just released my One Piece video that's on my YouTube channel at the moment. I've recorded and rendered solo leveling, and now I'm recording this Black Clover video, but at the point of recording the 278 chapter hasn't been scanlated yet, so I'm gonna do the 277 and then come back and do the 278 and then put it all together later on. That being said, let's get into this review. So chapter 277 of Black Clover. As always, it's a scanlation, so please support the official release when it does come out and take this with a pinch of salt. Now, with this chapter, this part of the section, I will keep it brief. One, because it's relatively simple, and two, I don't want to have this. I want to dedicate more of my time in the 10-minute or so videos I try to keep to the most recent chapter. So let's kind of go through what I think of the chapter, what the key elements of this chapter, and basically my thoughts at the end about a few things that, we'll discuss. Anyway, starts off basically the ending of the Zenon fight. It still looks like Zenon's using 50%, so there's an opportunity for him to develop the rest or come back later on. And then it switches off to Vanica versus Charlotte and Lil Ball Malte, or Real, depending on the translation. And there's a few things that kind of come off this straight away. Vanica's on a throne floating, doing what she wants, kind of Frieza-esque. She's kind of funny and cocky at the same time, so she's alright in my book. She's a bad guy, don't get me wrong, but she's kind of funny. We see a few different things. She's disappointed that Noella hasn't come, which is fine because it probably is going to be Noella later on. And then basically the fight starts. But before they can fight her, they've got to take out two of the Shining Generals. So if you think back a few chapters ago, pre-time skip, we saw Zenon take out essentially the Diamond Kingdom, or the remnants of the Diamond Kingdom, and being that the two of the generals are here under control of curse magic makes perfect sense. One, ultimately, I don't even know if these are the old generation or the new ones. Two, they've been proven to not be that strong in the grand scheme of things when you think about how far we've come power and story wise. So they are more of a hindrance than they are lethal, but if you make a mistake you're going to be in trouble ultimately. So we then start seeing things start flexing. So Rosalie flexes her Briar's magic, Lil Belmonte flexes his painting magic, and then the trolling starts. Vanica's like, oh, you're not compatible, and I'm like, is that it? And then she contemplates about Yami and Asta because they beat Dante and their powers complement each other, and it's kind of like a mixed match of power, having these two fight with each other, like a ragtag gang of magicians, hopefully to do this espionage. But so they start fighting, and then we get this whole kind of internal monologue of what Charlotte Rosalie has been up to. She's been spending time learning the heart magic about the ruins, and she's very diligent, and she spent 6 months getting stronger essentially. And what this did was this enabled her to fully utilize her abilities within the confines of her blue Briar's magic, which sucks the energy of the enemy. So the stronger the enemy, the more they're afflicted by the curse. To which point she then releases her original form that was kind of restricted by this magic, which is I believe the red version. It's kind of a red and blue version, and they basically take care of them, which gets Vanica involved. What I found funny was there's like a panel of Lil Belmonte, because he's kind of young and he's immature and he's trollish as well. He's like, you became a captain without having your full magic revealed, and it's like, it shows how powerful this curse is and her abilities and talents, which gets Vanica to fight. Vanica seems to be around about 70 or 80%, though it's not stated, just because of her colour, and she kind of gets caught in this magic, and it seems to end that way. Now, this is where it's concerning. It seems too easy, and that's the problem. One of the theories that's out there and something that I think is really possible with the way the twist and turns of Black Clover works, is that all this is just a joke, and realistically, they're meant to be sacrifices, and that opens the tree of the tree of the tree and the door to access to hell, and that's why they're losing. On a secondary thing, this is just a trap, and we're gonna find out what's gonna happen next. Because ultimately, it can't be that easy. Otherwise, why did you spend all that time training Asta, Noella, and everything else, and the elves who haven't appeared yet? There's going to be that at some point, so they're gonna go down. And from the the roles that you've seen out of 278, you can probably agree that seems the same thing that's gonna happen with Dante, and then we're gonna see something come back to kind of catch us off guard and make things interesting. That being said, that's chapter 277. I'll see you when 278 is released. See you then. So, a few hours have gone by, and Black Clover has been translated. At the point of recording, I've literally just uploaded my solo leveling video, so feel free to check that out if you haven't. And as always, all our videos, please try to watch them to the end, like and comment and share it with your colleagues, depending on where you see this, whether this is on Reddit or just on YouTube, just to help, because I've got essentially 74 subscribers. I'm low on the totem pole as far as the algorithm is concerned, so any help will help. That being said, it was interesting, actually. Much like the other two Dark Triad members, arrogant, cocky even, and then some happens. So one thing I did want to say with this, before kind of getting into it, I really like how this chapter went from Jack's perspective. It makes him more likable and more relatable, so we'll get into that. So to kind of go through the run of the events of the chapter, it starts off with Jack doing his lunatic slash or cutting technique against Dante, and Dante basically saying that, look, my regen ability was good before, it's even better now thanks to this Morris character's involvement, and even states that, look, besides anti-magic, you lot probably can't do much to me, so bow. And you get other kind of comments, other point of views. So you get Nax basically thinking, yeah, we need to put our kind of eggs in that basket about the anti-gravity and wait on him. But then Jack's like, wait a minute, we can still do things. So it's a difference of mentality, but I always find Nacht to be pragmatic by the sounds of it, and he's very honest, and this shows in this chapter. And as soon as it happens, he uses his gravity magic, and basically they're getting pinned down, uncrushed under the pressure. At this stage, this is when we see a new form, or another form from Nacht, one of his other shadows, or essentially the demons. I just call them shadows because they look like shadows at times. He's got 4 at least, right? One's with Asta, and the one that he's using now, it's a different type of ability. So I think the shadow one that he was using before, the demon that helped him go into shadows, was probably his kind of stealth espionage technique. And this one, he gives it a different name. I made a note of it. It was called EKUS, and it's a fortitude technique. So this is his defense based unite mode. And if you think back to the first one, the first one that he was using, he made him look like a Bloodborne character. This one makes him look like a Dark Souls character. There's a character called Havel who uses big shields, and you will see characters in there that use 2 shields in the Dark Souls or Blood Soul series. And it just reminded me of that, and it's like heavy defense, and you see them kind of going back and forth. There's a point where Nacht is kind of teasing Jack, saying, "Oh, Mr. Captain, what's going on? Is that all you've got?" And then you've got Dante, who's like slighted by the fact that he's not even paying attention, and throws a punch and gets countered. But even in that split second where it looks like he's being cocky and arrogant and everything else, Nacht has an internal dialogue, and he's very pragmatic in that same time, and he's saying, look, yeah, I can do this for a long period of time, but I don't have a finishing blow at this moment in time. The hope is that Jack can do something in this scenario because he could hold him off, but for how long? It's kind of like an uphill battle really, because he can't really do much. And this is why he's trying to spur him on. He goes, you're like, shut up, I'm trying to talk to Captain here. And then Dante says something. And I found that really interesting because not only does he mention his rival, but he praises him in comparison to Jack. He's like, oh, at least Yami gave me some type of entertainment, and he was the same class as you, and you know that they're rivals, so that probably spurred him on a bit. And then we get this flashback, and honestly, there's so many characters that are not royals, that are talented, and they've kind of came from like nothing and they become captains or influential peoples in the Knights, and we see that with him. Basically, he was a commoner, his dad was a hunter, a common hunter, and he basically said, go for easy prey, don't kill strong prey. And he was basically kind of like Robin Hood with, you know, arrows and everything else, and he would go after rabbits and hares and smaller animals because they were easier prey. And then one day when he was 13, his dad's body was brought back from the mountains, and it had a big slash, claw marks across his back, I believe. I couldn't tell because the angle, it looked like his back. I'm just going to assume it was his back. And the people were saying that, oh, he must have like kind of ran into the god or the king of the mountain, which in this case was basically a grizzly bear or a type of bear. And then you see a young 13-year-old Jack the Ripper basically slashing this guy down and taking down this bear, and thinks to himself, I should become a knight because he could use his abilities to be a better fighter. He's already a hunter, he can use that to like help people. And then you see this kind of metamorphosis where he uses other technique, which basically turns him into a hedgehog. So it's kind of like a berserker hedgehog technique. And Dante's like, oh yeah, calm down. And he catches him with this technique, and that's when the chapter ends. So if you think about the last 3 chapters, including this one, we see essentially Zenon get taken down, not dead. Vanica get taken down, not dead. And now Dante's been taken down, not dead. Though Vanica and Dante seem to be closer to 80% than Zenon was. So with that being said, is this the point where things turn around? Because Noella's not got involved, the elves haven't got involved, the Heart Kingdom Stage 0 people haven't got involved, Asta hasn't got involved, we've seen none of that. So what's going to change now at this point to make the difference? Is this the beginning of the ritual? Were there the sacrifices like people have been speculating? Or is there another twist in the tale? But ultimately, an enjoyable chapter because we got to find out more about Jack. I really liked him anyway because he's a crazy old soul, and he's Yami's rival, and he's very trollish, and to have this human element to him, kind of see his motivations and where he's come from, made me like him even more. That being said, brilliant chapter. Can't wait for next week. I'll see you then. Peace.